Hello everybody, this is General Yanis, and today in Death Card Tactics I'm going to be looking at the April Balance Dataslate and especially looking at the Armour of Contempt and analyzing these new rules. So with no further ado, let's get started. So today, the 17th of April, I have been having a long hiatus from making new videos. This has been let's say, a balance issue from real life commitments and the time for hobby and 40K and making these analysis. But now with a balanced data slate, I felt I needed to do some updates on the math. So the April balanced data slate introduced quite a few changes and corrections, and in a state of the game where I feel it's quite non-balanced and a bit, let's say, to be honest, quite a bit depressing to play Death Card, or a bit not super. We're not super competitive at the moment. So a lot of these new codices that has been released have been really overpowered, and you could see the power creep going on, exemplified by the Harlequins getting 75% plus win rates in some of the big tournaments. And in this context, the Death Card, the point hikes that we got still make no sense to me how that came about. But now, let's see, with this April balanced data slate, mixing a little bit some of the rules, fixing some things. So in this video, we'll be giving you my first thoughts and analysis on the changes, particularly for the Armour of Contempt. So the April data slate, my key takeaways, quite a few changes. Just focusing here on the quick on the more important ones. The Armour of Contempt rule is a nice durability buff to all marine type armies, and I will be looking at that closer in this video. Also, we got some changes to indirect fire. For indirect fire, like the Plague Scroller Mortar, if we are shooting versus a unit that cannot be seen by the mortar, this is nerfed quite a bit. So it's a bit of a nerf for the mortar of the Plague Scroller, which was a really strong weapon. Even if it's a bit swingy, it's a strong weapon for Death Guard. Also, we saw a nerf to the Bodyguard rule, and then for Death Guard, one of the biggest changes, the Terminators. Our Terminators finally get objective secure, so now we have three units with objective secure that can also do actions. So we have 4 units with objective secure in Death Guard, but the Poxwalkers cannot do actions, which is quite hindering us in the current state of the game. The Harlequin, the Void Weavers, and the Star Weavers get some point increases. Those were instrumental in the very high win rates, so some well-deserved, let's say, points there. The Adeptus Custodes, they lose objective secure on most of their units apart from the troops, and this is really nice. I played a few weeks ago. I played a battle with Adeptus Custodes, and it was quite difficult to score the secondaries, to hold the flags where all their characters and Trajan and so on, they were counting as many models. It was really difficult when everything nearly had objective secure. Now it will only be the troops, and those were more easy to take out than these very oppressive characters and bikes, etc. The Salamanders chapter tactic get some no reroll, not allowing the enemy to reroll the wound rolls, and this is really taking the air out of Death Guard with the plague weapons. So our plague weapons, basically we can't use them against salamanders. So this will be, let's say, probably tough if you're facing salamanders to not allowing us to reroll our wound rolls. The Battle Sisters get a bit more miracle dice, and Tau Broadsides lose core, and then a bunch of other changes, but those were my key takeaways anyway. So looking more into the Armour of Contempt. So the Armour of Contempt is a rule that allows us to ignore when 1 AP, and this is quite wide buff that applies to the Space Marine armies, Adeptus Astartes units, let's say, Chaos Space Marines, including Death Guard and Thousand Sons, Grey Knights, and Battle Sisters. And this has not applied to some of the units that have a Storm Shield or a Relic Shield, because those get very good saves anyway, and thankfully not the oppressive Dread Knights. They don't get this AP1 or other rules that ignore the armor penetration. So at least you can reduce it by 1 by this, but not stacking with some other rules that also reduce the armor penetration of the attack. So so a strong buff for these armies, and of course all the other armies. Let's say one of these armies will be facing a Xenos army or an Eldari or something like this, then it's only a buff for these armies here. For Death Guard, the Heretic Astartes is basically all units apart from Poxwalkers and Cultists. The Poxwalkers don't have a save so much, so it doesn't really matter so much. And now it's a nice synergy that the Terminators are even more durable now that they also have Obsec. However, I think still the point hikes are unwarranted and not really balanced. So I can't see. I was hoping that our Blightlords and Death Shroud would be reduced to the previous point levels. In the Thousand Suns as well, all units apart from Jangors and Cultists basically will be benefiting by ignoring 1 AP, and for Thousand Suns especially against damage 1 weapons, where the Thousand Suns, the Rubrics and the Terminators, they have +1 to the save. This can be it's really tough to make wounds on Thousand Suns with damage 1 weapons going forward. So some math for the troops for the Armour of Contempt in this table. Here we have a variety of weapons with different strengths and AP and damage levels. So from the, let's say, more basic anti-infantry weapons, from the lowly bolter with strength 4, AP 0, damage 1, up to, let's say, a dark lance or an entropy cannon. So very, let's say, high strength, high AP, high damage weaponry, and more anti-vehicle types down here. And here we see the Plague Marine with the Armour of Contempt and the previous Plague Marine that didn't have Armour of Contempt. And we can see here against, for example, AP0, of course, no change with the new rule. Basically the same amount. Here we see the amount of shots it takes from the given weapon to kill one model of this unit, let's say. So to kill one Plague Marine, you would need on average 27 bolter shots. If we go, for example, to a bolt rifle with AP1 and damage 1, previously it would the Plague Marine will be saving on a 4+, so he would be need to take 18 shots, but now he will still be saving on a 3+, ignoring this AP, so 27 shots to be killed. So 50% more shots can be taken now. So AP1 weapons see the biggest, let's say, degradation versus Armour of Contempt units, because basically they become AP0, not affecting the save roll for the Plague Marines. So all in all, we see Plague Marines being able to take more shots of everything, and even against AP4. Previously, we didn't have a save with the Plague Marines. Even with an Emelta gun, you would still be able to save maybe a few with some lucky sixes. You could save some of these heavy shots, or let's say AP3, you would still be saving on a 5+. So some good increases here. You see the improvement of how many shots more they could take from the given weapon. If we go to Rubric Marines, Rubric Marines are very strong versus damage 1 weapons because they get +1 to their save, and now even AP1 weapons like a Plague Knife, they will still be saving on a 2+. So this would be crazy good against even if, for example, Plague Marines come into Rubric Marines and attack them with their Plague Knives, saving on a 2+, not many wounds will go through. The Rubric Marines, they already have a 5+ invul, so a lot of this heavy weaponry, they don't get any benefit from AP3 and AP4. They would still be saving on a 5+. So no big changes for them for the big guns, because already now they have already some good durability for these weapons with their 5+ invul, but some very big durability against damage 1 weapons with AP1 or AP2. So it's quite interesting, especially, let's say, in an Inferno Bolter Rubric shooting at another Rubric Marine. Now the Rubric Marine will now be saving on a 3+, basically ignoring one of the AP and saving +1 better for the dust, all is dust rule. So really strong against damage 1 weapons and very nice increases And also, let's say the intercessor for the Space Marines, not as durable as the Rubric Marines or the Plague Marines, but still a nice improvement for the saves, so making it more difficult to kill. And this, of course, makes that, for example, if the Death Guard is shooting at the intercessors with a Blightlauncher, previously it was, let's say, 3 shots to kill one. Now it takes 4 shots to kill one intercessor. They will still be saving on a 4+, so quite a lot, high chance that the intercessors can just save the Blightlauncher shots. Looking at then some of the math for the Terminators, here we have the Blightlord and Deathshot Terminators, with the new rules, with the Armour of Contempt and the old rule. We see some very big improvement, especially with AP1. For AP1 weapons, let's say the Death Shroud will still, the Terminators will be still saving on a 2+ instead of a 3+, so this is 100% more shots that can be taken. AP2, they will still be saving on a 3+, and AP3 saving on the 4+ invol. So a lot of the heavy weaponry, no change, no benefit from the new rule, because they were already having a nice durability with the 4+ invol. But some really nice improvements here for AP1 and AP2 type weapons. For the Scaraboccle Terminators, damage 1 weapons, they are really very tough to make any impact on the Scarab Terminators here. They can up to AP2, they will still be saving on a 2+. They have the 2+ basic save. The dust helps them to save +1, and then with the Armour of Contempt, so basically they can ignore 2 AP and still save on a 2+. And higher damage weapons, they can ignore up to AP1, and it now takes AP4 weapons to get them to their 5+ invol. So AP3, they will still be let's say saving on a 4+. So this is really strong for the Scaraboccle Terminators. The Scaraboccle Terminators not as durable as the Blightlord and the Deathshroud Terminators of the Death Guard. The better invol and the higher toughness and the damage reduction is better for the Terminators. But all in all, some good improvements, especially for anti-infantry weapons for the Terminators. So some summary and final thoughts. I think ignoring the 1 AP gives a good buff to the durability for all Heretic, Astartes, Adeptus Astartes, etc. units. I haven't done the calculations, for example, for Demon Engines or other units, but you get the point of the AP, especially AP1 will be suffering. So the biggest losers versus this type of armies will be weapons with AP1, basically becoming AP0. For the Thousand Suns, the all is dust rule for the damage 1, improving the save in combination with Armour of Contempt. Even AP1, AP2, it is really strong and difficult to take out the Thousand Suns. This makes the Rubric Marines a very strong troop choice. Also, the Plague Marines get improved, but I think on the troops, the Rubrics are really tough to take off the table right now with a 5+ invol, and basically for damage 1 weapons, they can't harm them so easily. The Blightlords and the Deathshot Terminators get even better protection from anti-infantry weapons. For heavy weaponry, it doesn't affect them so much because they already have the 4+ invol. And this is, let's say, with the new objective secure for the Terminators, it's good that they get this extra pip of durability. But still, I think they cost a bit too much, so it would be nice if they could revert to the previous points. So basically, if we are Death Guard or Thousand Suns or Space Marines and we face some unit with no Armour of Contempt, then we will be at a better spot. But if we are, let's say, Death Guard and we're facing Thousand Suns or another Space Marines or Sisters or something like that, then we will expect many of the Death Guard weapons that don't have very high AP will be struggling facing an army with the Armour of Contempt. So AP1 weapons, especially like the plague knives, for example, and then AP2 will become AP1, like the mortar or the Blightlauncher or a lot of these good weapons, the Flail of Corruption, etc. a lot of the enemy will be saving on 4 pluses or 3 pluses or something like that, and then they could make, it will be difficult for us to make a lot of wounds. On the bright side, let's say AP0 weapons are unchanged, so if we're facing another marine army, then the bolters are still, let's say, as inefficient as they were before, and the Volkites are unchanged, so they don't care if they are shooting on something that has the Armour of Contempt. So basically, this concludes the first analysis. In a subsequent video, I hope soon I can do the calculation on the axe and the sword from the Terminators. Now, if we are facing an army with Armour of Contempt, what do you think about these changes? Let me know in the comments. With these words, this concludes the video. If you like this video, please press like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, thanks for listening. So with these words, General Yanis is signing out. Stay safe out there, and bye bye.